Here, at the edge of the world, lies a land of astonishing beauty. New Zealand. Its islands are a masterpiece of nature's design. We see jagged mountains, their peaks cloaked in ancient snow, reaching for the heavens. Below them, great forests of fern and fir stretch for countless miles, a deep, vibrant green. Rivers, cold and clear, carve their paths, flowing from the high country down to the dramatic coastlines. The sea itself, a constant presence, crashes against rugged cliffs and whispers across gentle, sandy shores. This is a place that feels both ancient and alive, a sanctuary of natural wonder that has captivated human hearts for centuries. The cities, too, seem to nestle into this landscape with a certain harmony. Auckland, with its harbour full of sails, glitters under the Pacific sun. Wellington, tucked between steep hills and a windswept bay, hums with a creative, resilient energy. Christchurch, a city of gardens, continues its steady rebirth. These urban centres are the focal points of human activity, places of commerce, culture and community. They are the hives where millions of lives intertwine, where dreams are pursued and futures are built. From the air, it all appears as a perfectly balanced ecosystem, a peaceful and prosperous home for its people. But if we look closer, another, more subtle pattern begins to emerge. It is a change not in the landscape itself, but in the human presence upon it. In the suburbs of the great cities and the main streets of smaller towns, a curious quiet has begun to settle. It is a stillness that can be seen in the early evening, when streets that should be bustling with life seem strangely subdued. It can be seen in the windows of houses, where signs bearing the words "for sale" or "for rent" have become an increasingly common sight, lingering for weeks, sometimes months, a silent testament to a journey elsewhere. This quietness is not the tranquil peace of the wilderness. It is something else entirely. It feels like a slow, collective exhalation, the sound of a gradual departure. It is the quiet of a school playground with fewer children than it once had, their laughter echoing in a larger space. It is the quiet of a local shop that now closes its doors an hour earlier, its owner facing a dwindling stream of customers. This is the visual evidence of a silent exodus, a steady movement of people away from a land many still call home. It is a migration driven not by grand adventure, but by quiet, deeply personal calculations. This phenomenon, this gentle emptying, is not a sudden event. It is a slow, unfolding story, written in thousands of individual decisions. It is a story about the changing relationship between a people and their land. New Zealand has long been a destination, a place people came to in search of a better life, drawn by its promise of space, safety, opportunity. For generations, the tide of migration flowed inwards, enriching the nation with new cultures and new energy. But now, for many, that tide appears to be turning, pulling people away towards distant shores and different promises. The reasons for this shift are as complex as the lives of the people involved. The narrative is not one of panic or mass flight. It is more subtle. It is a story told in hushed conversations over family dinners, in worried emails exchanged between friends across the globe, and in the solitary moments of weighing pros and cons. Let us listen to Mia, a teacher in a small town on the North Island.
I love my students. I love this community. But every year it gets a little harder. We see families move away because the main employer in the next town over downsized. I have fewer children in my class, but their needs are greater. My own children are grown, and they've both moved to Melbourne. They tell me to come, that life is easier,
At the very heart of this silent exodus is a simple, relentless pressure: the cost of living. For countless families across these islands, the fundamental act of providing for oneself has become a source of constant anxiety. The price of basic necessities has climbed steadily, like a slow-rising tide that threatens to swamp the household budget. Cost of living rising sharply, average wage growth much flatter. We see it in the supermarkets, in the price of fruit, in the price of vegetables, and in the price of dairy products. These are the very things this fertile land produces in abundance, yet shoppers are surprised and distressed. It's felt at the petrol pump, fuel prices making travel more expensive. It's felt when the electricity bill arrives, a stark reminder of keeping a home warm and bright in cold, damp winter months. For many, wages have not kept pace. The gap between what is earned and what is needed has widened, a persistent sense of running in place. An expert in economics, Dr. Helen Carter, provides some context.
What we're observing in New Zealand is a classic cost of living squeeze, but with a few local intensifiers.
Our reliance on imports, global supply chain issues, currency fluctuations. Perhaps no single issue illustrates the challenges facing New Zealanders more starkly than the crisis in housing. A home is more than just shelter, a foundation for life, a place of security, belonging, aspiration. Yet, for a growing number of people in this land of wide open spaces, the dream of owning a secure and affordable home has become just that, a distant, seemingly unattainable dream. For decades, house prices, particularly in the major urban centres, have escalated at a rate that has far outstripped income growth, creating one of the most unaffordable housing markets in the world. This crisis manifests in many ways: fierce rental competition, overcrowding, deposits out of reach. Let us meet Liam, a 32-year-old carpenter living in Auckland. He is a skilled tradesman, the very person needed to help build more houses.
I build beautiful homes for other people, but I can't see a path to ever owning one myself, not here. My partner and I, we've saved and saved, but every time we get close, the goalposts move. The prices just keep climbing. We hear from friends in Brisbane or Perth, and they're buying houses, they have a backyard for their kids. It makes you think.
Beyond the cost of living and housing, another powerful current drives this migration: the search for opportunity and career progression. While New Zealand has a dynamic and innovative economy in many sectors, its relatively small scale can present limitations. For many skilled professionals, opportunities for advancement, bigger projects, and commensurate pay begin to feel constrained. The pathway to the top can seem shorter and more crowded than in larger, more diversified economies. Abroad, a developer may find cutting-edge projects. A researcher, larger grants. A lecturer, a wider academic community. Let us listen to Anna, a registered nurse from Wellington.
I'm passionate about nursing and I love my patients, but the system is stretched so thin. We're chronically understaffed and the pay just doesn't reflect the responsibility we carry. My counterpart in Sydney earns a third more than I do, and her hospital is actively recruiting. When I weigh my passion for my community against my ability to provide the best possible future for her, the choice becomes incredibly difficult and incredibly sad.
The competition for talent is global, and New Zealand is finding it increasingly difficult to compete. Higher wages, better conditions, and greater security just a 3-hour flight away are a constant and powerful magnet. The decision to leave is rarely made in a vacuum. It is shaped by a world that is more interconnected than ever before. For New Zealanders, the pull of other countries, particularly Australia. The Trans-Tasman travel arrangement effectively creates a single labour market with minimal bureaucracy. Relocating can feel less like international migration and more like moving to another state. A larger economy often means higher wages, more industries, more pathways for advancement, and a seamless cultural transition. Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. Government policy also plays a crucial role. Immigration settings abroad pull in healthcare, construction, and technology workers with attractive visas and pathways to citizenship. For a young New Zealander with in-demand skills, the world presents a menu of options. This mobility is a double-edged sword. Many return with skills and connections. But when salary, balance and home ownership are easier abroad, the incentive to return diminishes. Behind the statistics and economic trends lies a rich and complex human tapestry. Each departure is a personal story, a thread pulled from the fabric of a family, community, nation. They take their laughter from the local sports club, their regular order from the corner cafe, and their familiar face from the neighbourhood street. Consider the story of the Kumar family, who ran a beloved local dairy for 2 decades. Last year, they sold their business and moved to Adelaide to be closer to their children and grandchildren. The new owners are efficient, but the personal connection has changed. The town feels a little less connected. This migration reshapes the demographic profile. Often the young, the skilled, the ambitious leave. Some regions age, services strain, a void of talent and energy appears. At the same time, new migrants arrive, bringing skills, cultures and dreams, a continually evolving national identity. Movement is woven into the story of Aotearoa. The question today is one of balance. The silent exodus of New Zealand is not a prophecy of doom, but a call for reflection and action. The path forward is not a single simple road, but a series of choices at every level of society. There is a future where these trends can be reshaped, where this beautiful land can once again become a place of enduring promise. Bold, long-term housing strategies that go beyond political cycles to increase affordable, quality homes. Foster a resilient job market. Invest in education and training aligned to future industries. Support entrepreneurs. Pay competitive wages. Make it possible for a nurse, a carpenter and a software developer to build secure, fulfilling careers without leaving. Strengthen local bonds. Support local businesses. Build vibrant, connected places to live. Those who leave remain part of the global whānau. Ambassadors who send back knowledge, capital, and often return. Keep the door open. Make the reasons to return as compelling as the reasons to leave. In the end, this is a story about home, belonging, thriving, and building a future for our children. The mountains will continue to stand, and the sea will continue to embrace these shores. With care, with courage, and with a shared commitment, the quiet exodus can become a story not of loss, but of renewal. A nation choosing to write a more hopeful future for itself.